And then perhaps maybe like getting people to almost want to keep playing. There has to be that motivation. We could almost switch to just younger kids playing sports, because that's almost one of the things that parents are drilling home. Like, none of this matters. It's all about having fun. Like, when I played soccer in grade 6 in Port Moody years ago, that's what I was told. I was just having fun. And I feel like that almost correlated to how poorly I performed as a midfielder.
Did you get a participation medal?
No.
No?
Right.
So that's what happens now, right? You don't have to win to win. You just got to participate to get a medal.
That's
nowadays.
true, yeah.
That was never me, man. I used to, like, I remember I was like 10 years old. I used to play basketball on the court with my friends. And we were so competitive, man.
Yeah.
We almost fought so many times. 10 years old, was playing basketball. I remember, like, you know, when the recess was finishing up, and I just when the ringtone, the alarm went off for us to go inside, I shot the ball and I scored a game winner. And I've never felt so proud in my life before,
Wow.
man.
Oh.
I was chubby 10-year-old, and just like swish.
I cannot relate to team sports because every time I tried to play a team sport as a kid, I was a chubby, very chubby kid, very unathletic, and yeah, they made fun of me quite a bit. But, you know, when we did win, oh, it was such a great feeling. Also, I remember one time in gym, like, we went up against the basketball team, like this gang of misfit kids who weren't really the best at being athletic, and we were underdogs. We beat the basketball team
Yeah.
by a close margin. I'm like, you can imagine what I've said. I was like, yeah, expletive, yeah.
So playing sports is not fun. Winning is fun.
That's
Yeah.
true, yeah. I like that. That's got to be what you enjoy. And then you feel like when you lose the exact opposite, which in turn can, you know, either make or break you as well.
I've never been broken. Bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only time losing, it definitely sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But it's character building, you know. It makes you who you are. It teaches you lessons. The one time I felt the most lost, it was when I was sparring with someone, MMA style, wrestling, and he just sat on me.
Oof.
And I just couldn't breathe. And I was just like, oh my God, like, please, the clock, the alarm, please go off soon, finish the round. But he was sitting on me so tight on my chest, I just couldn't breathe, man. And then I just, you know, that's what losing really felt like. Losing a basketball game is not losing. Having someone sit on you and punch you in the face, that's losing. But you know what? Character building too.
Absolutely.
I mean, like, definitely losing does build character, but it also helps teach lessons. I personally don't have like a regular sports or like a team sports example, but the one I always think of is, well, we're going to use F1 as an example. 1994, after Ayrton Senna passed away, Williams had to fill the hole with their reserve driver David Coulthard and Damon Hill, and he almost won the championship, but lost out in a very controversial manner to Michael Schumacher. 2 years later, he ended up getting the championship, and he took that lesson with him and became pretty much a very championship caliber driver after that. But that's one example I can think of. So yeah, vroom vroom.
That's cool, dude, because I love seeing those examples from other sports, because there's so many things that we can kind of like overlook when we get so caught up, especially in North America. In North America, we're all about ourselves. We're all about the sports that we created and the sports that we're good at, you know, like hockey in Canada, football and basketball in America. But there's so many other things around the country that I want to learn and I want to get better at, because I want to understand the mindsets from all these different perspectives. And it's amazing, because sports truly does transcend everybody in the world, I think.
Your boy used to play competitive ping pong, baby. Table tennis.
Just remember, skateboarding is a sport too. You got to be competitive, dog.
They're in the Olympics now, so it is a sport.
I'm just memeing, but yeah, you got a point there.
Yeah.
There was that one Japanese kid, Yudo Horigome, I think. He killed it in the street section. I'm going off on a tangent right now, but this guy killed it in the street and won the gold for Japan. So you know what? Homegrown talents, my dude. Yeah, dab.
Okay. A couple more questions. I got one for Hugh. And then I got one more for Tiger. So
Yo,
Hugh,
yiggity.
we were talking a little bit about 2005 to 2015-ish era National Hockey League. The Sedins, Luongo, they're in the Hall of Fame. When did you start watching hockey? Because I started watching hockey around 2006, 2007, so they were just coming up. They were culminating their identity as just fundamental benchmarks for the team. What do they make you feel like when you think about the Sedins, Luongo going to the Hall of Fame, Daniel Alfredson as well?
So when I think Danny, I'll use the Sedins and Luongo first as an example. I remember watching hockey like before their time, and the Sedins were like young rookies. I didn't really notice their skill level at the time because I was too young to really get into it. But Luongo, when he got traded to the Canucks, you could instantly see like a difference in the goaltending. Like, excuse me. Vancouver was known as a goalie graveyard before the arrival of Luongo. They went through so many goaltenders between like Kirk McLean in '94 and then all the way up till like Luongo's arrival. So you could definitely see the difference he made in the team. I mean, they went to the Cup final with him in 2011, right? 2010, 2011. Mm-hmm. And yeah, they were one game away, and there's always going to be that controversy. Oh, they should have started Schneider, but I'm not going to go off about that. But Luongo deserves a spot in the Hall of Fame, and so do the Sedins. Those guys were great playmakers, and overall, they contributed a positive culture to that locker room. And a lot of those other players, too, at least deserve All-Star nominations, or heck, maybe retired number or Hall of Fame thing. But the Sedins and Luongo definitely deserve it, and I'm happy to see them in there. As for like other players, like who else is inducted? I know Alfredson is.
Just the four of them.
Just the four?
Yeah.
Was there another player, or just
the four? I think they don't throw in a whole lot each year. They honored them at the Toronto Maple Leafs game last Saturday.
Okay. Then in that case, so Alfredson is a great player. I think he's one of the best players to never win a cup, at least from what I've seen, because I know he came close with the Senators in '07, and then they ended up striking out with the Ducks, who were like, they were on a record. They were on excuse me. They were on a streak. They did
Absolutely.
well. We lost to the eventual Cup champions in like I think the first or second round.
Yeah.
And they were good. They were good. Anaheim was just too strong, but Ottawa almost had it, and they had good goaltending. They had good players with Spezza, Alfredson, who was a perfect leader for the team. They had a hotshot goaltender in Ray Emery, who it's a shame. It's a shame how that he passed.
Rest in peace, Ray Emery.
But he was a pretty fiery goaltender.
He was.
And I think they had Hasek on that team as well, but I don't think he played. Was not playing due to injury.
They had Danny Heatley as well.
Yeah,
I think guy was absolute heater.
He was good. I think this is after he got traded from Atlanta after what happened with Dan Snyder and them. But like that was a good squad, honestly.
Definitely.
They deserve to win a cup, but that's my hot take. But yeah, the overall, like going back on to the topic, Daniel Alfredson, I think like he is a surefire addition to the Hall of Fame, and it's a shame he never won a cup, but hey, he deserves it.
Definitely. Tiger, speaking of the Hall of Fame, I wanna ask your opinion on if there's some basketball players right now that you think maybe could be in the Hall of Fame or maybe shouldn't be, as well as players that you really wanted to see since you watched basketball at such a young age. Maybe there were some players. Were there any players that you wished were in the Hall of Fame that haven't been, that are still eligible, perhaps?
The first name that came to my mind is Chris Bosh. I think he definitely deserved to be there. People tend to ignore what he's done for Canada ever since he moved to the Heat. People tend to forget that if Chris Bosh never got a rebound, then Ray Allen would never make that three. If Ray Allen never made that three, then LeBron would never be the LeBron we have today. So like people tend to like forget how big of a figure Chris Bosh was, even in Canada. Especially in Canada, he was crazy. Like if he never went to the Heat, he could have a beautiful complete legacy himself as a Canadian sportsman. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just imagine Chris Bosh, Vince Carter, DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah.
Because DeRozan, they're on this team together for a brief period.
I think DeRozan 09-10 year,
Yeah.
and then that was it. 10-11, Bosh was with the Heat.
Vince Carter, DeMar
Yeah.
DeRozan, and then
Add Lowry
Chris
a couple
Bosh.
years later,
Oh my
maybe.
God.
Yeah, would have been great.
That would have been great, but you know, it's kind of tragic having a sports team in Canada because it's all for basketball. Nobody want to come here,
Yeah.
and that brings back to another Hall of Famer that I think should be a Hall of Famer, is Steve Francis. It brings back us, you know, the Vancouver Grizzlies drafted him. He was like, oh heck no, I ain't coming here. You know, there's like no black people in Vancouver, and he's from straight up from the hood, right? So that is a pretty big culture shock.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, and I think he deserves a lot. He means a lot to me personally because, like, when Yao Ming first came to the NBA, like, he took care of him. He was super nice. He would invite Yao back for dinner to his house and stuff like that. You know, just hospitality. And people need to search up the highlights, man. Like that guy's like my height, and he jumps out of the building.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Gilbert Arenas just got his jersey retired recently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that guy needs to be the Hall of Fame as well. Yeah.
That's cool, man. Yeah, there's definitely definitely some definitely a lot of just players that we can appreciate, we can look back on, and whether they meant a lot to the whole league or meant a lot to 5 people. Like, these guys, you know, they did what they could, and some get respected, some don't, some get overlooked, some get underrated, but dude.
Hot take: Steve Francis is literally the Mark Messi of the Vancouver Grizzlies. Yes.
I like that.
Or like the
comparison.
he's like the Eric Lindros
Yeah.
of basketball, because who, like, in their right mind would literally be like, oh, I'm not going to play for a team, this and that, and then basically unintentionally destroy the franchise. It's just like,
Yeah.
nah, yo, I could go off again, but I don't know enough. I'm sorry, sir. That hurts. See, how do you have to say?
I wish there was a team here still, so I don't have to drive to Portland to catch a basketball game all the time. It's 5-hour drives, man. At least bring a team back to Seattle.
Hey, who knows? Maybe they'll give us a new team and they can rename them the Grizzlies and tell Memphis to kick dirt.
Yeah.
Seattle Stoners. Let's go. New team. Adam Silver, I'm looking at you.
Adam Silver, get it done, man, please.
I vote that we have a new basketball team called Real Madrid.
All right, guys.
I'd rather have a team called Eintracht Frankfurt.
All right, Hugh, Tiger, thank you so much for being on the show, and I appreciate the conversation. It was fun.
See you next time.
Keep on rocking in the free world and doot diddle loot, dude.
We'll see you soon, guys. We'll get you on again.